טוב הוא מנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב הוא מנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב. ידה די דה 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 דה. הנה מה טוב, הנה מה טוב. ידה די דה 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 דה. הנה מה טוב הוא מנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב הוא מנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. Shabbat Shalom. I'm John Weinberg, for those of you who don't know me. Welcome to our Shabbat service, to those here and to those watching on the internet. I am standing in for Rabbi Yehuva tonight and giving it my best shot. So I'd like to start by asking Ron Friedman to come and light the Shabbat candles.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'chadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'chadlik ner shel Shabbat. This time we'd like to take a moment to celebrate the joys and good things that have happened in the past week. So if anyone has a simcha they'd like to share, let me know. Was just a so-so week, and
being able to bring in Shabbat.
what's it?
Being able to bring in Shabbat.
Being able to bring in Shabbat is certainly always something worth celebrating, and with that in mind, let's turn to the Shehakianu. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Shehakianu kimanu v'hegiyanu lazman hazeh. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Shehakianu v'kimanu v'hegiyanu lazman hazeh. Amen. Let's turn now to Lachado D on page 3. Lechadodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nikabela. 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 Shamor v'zakor b'dibur echad, השמיענו אל המלכד, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשם ולתפארת ולתהילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקהבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקהבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי ממקור הברכה, מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבתך. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקהבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקהבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורי קומי אורי, אורי אורי שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני יליק נגלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקהבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקהבלה. For the final verse, we stand and face the entrance to the synagogue. Ovi v'shalom ha'teref bala, גם בזמף אוכלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי קלה, בואי קלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקהבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, p'nei Shabbat nikabela. Please be seated. And let's read together Meditation 2 on page 4. I find by experience, not by reasoning, but by my own discovery that God is near me. And I can be near God at all times. I cannot explain it, but I am as sure of my experience as I am of the fact that I live and love. I cannot explain how I have come to live and love, but I know I do. In the same way, I know I am in contact with God. Please rise for the Baruch Hu on page 4. Ya da 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 da. Ya da 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 da. Ya da 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 da. Ya da 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 da. Ya da 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 da. Ya da 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 da. Ya da 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 da. Ya da 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 da. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach, HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. HaMevorach, HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. And let's read together on the bottom of page 5, Ahavat Olam. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol, all these things your Torah gives to us, And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be a truer token of your abiding love than this holiest of your works and the living language that gives it form? Adonai, Ohev Ami Yisrael. And we turn to the Shema on page 6. Ma Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Please be seated. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol meodecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom alavavecha Vishinantam levanecha b'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha uvlektecha b'derek uvshakbeha uvkumecha ukshartom liot al yadecha v'hayu letotofot b'neinecha uktavtam Amazuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman tiskaru vasitem et kol mitzvotai vitem kedoshim lelohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim Liot lachem Elohim, ani Adonai Elohechem. And let's read together on page 7, reading A. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe that we were taught before we ever stood at Sinai's foot that everywhere we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together. And we sing Mi Kamocha. Mi kamoka bo elim Adonai, mi kamoka nedor bakodesh, nora tehilot osefele, nora tehilot osefele. And we turn to Vishamru on page 8. Shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, lasod et ha-Shabbat, ledorotam barit olam, v'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, lasod et ha-Shabbat, ledorotam barit olam. B'nei Yisrael, oti leolam, oti leolam, v'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, lasod et ha-Shabbat, ledorotam barit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai, et hashamayim v'et haaretz, v'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, lasod et ha-Shabbat, ledorotam barit olam. Uvayom hashvi Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash, v'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, lasod et ha-Shabbat, ledorotam barit olam. And please rise for the Amidah on page 8. Adonai sifatai titaku fi agite hilotecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your glory. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Leah, v'Elohei Rachel, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Hasadim Tovim, V'Konei HaKol, V'Zoker Hasdei Avot V'Imahot, Umevi Gula Libnei B'nehem, Lema'an Shema Yahava, Melech Ozer Umoshiach Umagen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham v'Ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayei HaKol, Atah Rav leHoshia, Mechachel Hayim b'Chesed, Mechayei HaKol b'Rachamim Ravim. So make no flim, Urofe Holim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Mikamo Kaba'al Gevurot, Umidom Elach, Melech Memid, Umechayeh, Umatzmiat Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah lehayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, mechayei hakol. Please be seated. Now we take some time for quiet time for personal prayer or reflection. Shalom Ra Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Ra Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech adon lekol ha-shalom. Ki atahu melech adon lekol ha-shalom. Shalom Ra Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Ra Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. V'tov b'necha levarech et amcha Yisrael b'chol et u'b'chol sha'ah b'shlomecha. Shalom Ra Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Ra Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. Tasim Leolam. At this time, we take a moment to think of those in need of healing, and among our congregation, we think of Alyssa Freeman, Marcy Horwitz, Beth Levine, Rabbi Jerry Levy, and Natalie Rayner. Are there others who you wish to mention in need of healing? With their names in our hearts, we sing the Mishiberach on page 13. Mishiberach avotenu mikor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach imotenu mikor habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. This week's Torah portion is Haye Sarah, the life of Sarah, which naturally begins with the death of Sarah. Abraham, residing among the Hittites, seeks out a burial plot for his wife. There's some bargaining with his neighbors over the price. The bargaining is a little bit odd because Abraham wants to pay for the plot and his neighbor Ephraim wants to give it to him. So it's a little bit of reverse of what we usually think of bargaining. He secures the plot and buries Sarah. And then he sends his servant Eliezer back to the country of Abraham's birth and where his family and his relatives reside to find a wife for Isaac. Eliezer returns with Rebekah. And then we're told about sort of the remaining days of Abraham's life and his death and burial. And towards the end of the portion, we get an update on Ishmael, who we haven't seen in a little while. Now, before I offer some thoughts on this portion, I might note that as a social scientist, I'm often drawn to later parts of the Torah, beginning towards the end of Exodus and into Leviticus, where in the wilderness, the Israelites begin to face the reality of their freedom and independence. And there you see both the laws that are being forwarded in the text and the narrative in the text can be read, I think, as a blueprint for building a well-functioning society. Heck, at one point, God tells Moses to conduct a census of the people, and how can an economist not love that? But the stories in Bereshit, in Genesis, are much more personal. And we see the patriarchs and the matriarchs searching for their place in the world as individuals and as a family, and dealing with all the emotions that come from that search. And in this week's portion, one of the emotions that comes to fore is loneliness. And that's perhaps a feeling, loneliness and isolation, that many of us have felt during these years of the pandemic. In the portion, we see the loneliness due to the loss of a wife and a mother, and the loneliness that comes from living as a stranger in a strange land. When Abraham goes to his neighbors to seek out a burial plot for Sarah, he says to them, I am a resident alien among you, calling out his difference and his separation from them, even though his dealings with his neighbors are very cordial. Indeed, the kind of odd negotiations that take place over the price of the land for the burial, the land that holds the burial cave, is almost a comically exaggerated kind of argument. He says, no, I insist, I'm going to give you the land. No, I insist, I'm going to pay for it. And you can almost see it, a routine built around that in the Catskills. But commentators have suggested that by buying the land, Abraham is making sure to secure the claim. If he takes it as a gift, and he's a stranger in the land, does he really know that it will be securely his and his family's forever? And so in that way, he is establishing physically his place in that, or his claim to that place, to that particular part of the land of Canaan. And in fact, this is the first establishment of a legal claim to a piece of land in the land of Canaan. And perhaps by doing that, he is seeking to have himself, to allow himself to be somewhat more connected to a place. Not the place where he was born, but the place where he is, and seeking to be less of a sojourner and less of a wanderer. And when it comes time to find a wife for Isaac, he sends his servant Eliezer back to their home. Doesn't want to search. He doesn't want to find Isaac a wife among the strangers among whom they live, or the people among whom they are strangers, but rather wants to send him back to find someone from their home, perhaps just seeking for something familiar in the strange world they're living in. The search is successful. Eliezer, Abraham's servant, decides that he's going to ask the first woman he sees for water, and if she could water his camels also, and if she does it, that's the one. And the first woman he sees does it without even being asked. She immediately brings water to him and his camels, and it turns out that this is Rebekah, who is, as it turns out, Abraham's great niece, I believe. So not even knowing that she was, how closely related she was, he witnesses her kindness, and Rebekah is brought back to marry Isaac, an odd part of the story here is that when Eliezer brings Rebekah back, we don't see Abraham in that part of the story at all. He brings her back. Isaac sees her. Isaac marries her and is comforted by her, in the aftermath of the death of his mother. That bit of the story doesn't involve Abraham at all, and some commentators have suggested that maybe that part of the story actually happens after Abraham has already died. But we haven't been told about the death of Abraham yet in the portion. That actually comes later in the portion. So it's a little bit odd. And it could just simply be that what we're seeing here is the passing from Abraham to Isaac of sort of the central character part of the story. And then one other thing worth mentioning here, having to do with feelings of loneliness and feelings of isolation or alienation, is that what's something that one might do when feeling these feelings. One thing is perhaps reaching out to people from whom you've become estranged. And so here we see the return of Ishmael. When Abraham dies, we're told that he is buried by his sons, Isaac and Ishmael. And so it's suggesting that in spite of their having been cast out from when Isaac was born, that there has been reconciliation between them. And we learn a little bit about Ishmael, about his sons, and they seem to be doing well because they're described as princes, and so that sort of closes a circle in a way, I think, to the story of Abraham and his children. Hagar is not mentioned in this portion, although some rabbis have argued that the wife that Abraham takes after Sarah's death, Keturah, is actually Hagar. I think that's interesting. I don't know any more about that, but I thought that was interesting. So perhaps, again, the rabbis see the closing of the circle by bringing Ishmael back at Abraham's death, and maybe they want to solidify that by identifying Keturah as Hagar. So what we see in this portion is Abraham and his household, even though they are isolated and living in a foreign land. We see them giving themselves over to kindness, to the kindness of strangers that they live among, and to the kindness of the relatives that they left and have reunited with, and that kindness allows them to move forward into the next phase of their story. So it seems appropriate that at least this year, this portion falls close to our secular Thanksgiving holiday, when we try to fight off whatever loneliness we have in our lives by gathering with friends, and maybe sometimes gathering with strangers also. And perhaps when we also turn our thoughts to things we can do to ease the burden of those who are feeling lonely and alienated at this time of year. So I wish you all a good Shabbat and a happy Thanksgiving, and let us say Amen. And with that, I'd like to ask our president, Lori Weinberg, to come up for announcements.
Thank you, John. Shabbat shalom, everyone. Tomorrow there will not be any Torah study. That will resume after Thanksgiving. December 3rd. Okay, looks like. Okay. Odie Youth Group has an event planned for tomorrow night in the escape room. Sounds like fun. Religious school is this Sunday from 9 to 12, and Torah Tots from 9 to 10. It says here we have a Real Theology movie night. Is that this week? Okay, I thought it was last week. No, it's this week. And this is Jacob the Liar? Okay, all right, very good. At 6 o'clock for the food, and then watching the movie, and then a discussion led by Rabbi Ahuva. And I think that's it. There's some other meetings and things listed here if you're interested. Actually, there are a few things coming up a little bit down the line. And on December 4th, we will be having a program, and it will be, I believe, virtual, Judaism, Gender, and Non-Binary Inclusion from 4 to 5 p.m. There will be guest speakers, actor Bonds, I cannot pronounce the last name, Swenkianis, and Rabbi Nikki DeBlosy. That will be on Zoom, and that will probably be a very interesting program. And then finally, on December 5th, the Orami Book Club will meet to discuss Minor Detail by Adana Shibley. Are there any other announcements you want to put in a plug for New Year's Eve, Eileen? You have to come up here so if anybody's on Zoom, they can hear you.
Orami is coming out of hibernation for New Year's Eve this year. So mark your calendars. We will have music and desserts and beverages here, and we will have more to come. We will, hopefully by tomorrow, we'll nail down who the musician will be, and I think you'll be very pleased. So mark your calendars. From 8 to 10, you'll get out by 10 o'clock, so you can be home to do whatever you want to do at midnight. So, yeah. So. And beverages. Yeah, we're not, it's not going to be, for those of you that remember Orami from 3 years ago, it's not going to be that big. We're starting small this year, and then we'll expand from there.
Thank you. And I'd like to thank my husband, John, for leading the service tonight, and also to Ron, who has become our official challah baker. So I don't know which kind of challah he has for tonight. Poppy seed. So please stay for a few minutes for the Kiddush after services. Thank you.
Thank you, Lori. Isn't she great? Cute, too. Aleinu is on page 14. Please rise. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol l'atei gedula l'yotzer breshit shelo asanu ki goyei haratzon velo samanu k'mishpachot adaman shelo sam chelkenu kahem v'gor aleinu Kol hamanam v'anachnu korim u'mishtachavim u'modim lifnei melech malkei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu v'nemar v'chaya Adonai L'melech al kol haaretz Bayom hahu Yihye Adonai echad Ushmo echad. This week we remember the yard sites of Jeff Galston, longtime member of Orami, Lottie Halberstadt, grandmother of Lisa Halberstadt, Judith Lenke, mother of Beth Meixner, Selma B. Robbie, mother of Margie Menaker, Gail Petroff Thipoe, sister of Marilyn Harris, Edward Zuckerman, grandfather of Beth Meixner. Are there other names that you would wish to remember? Yes. Remember those names as we recite the Mourner's Kaddish together. Yikadal v'yikadash shmei rabbah, v'yalmad yivrach yichutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon u'v'yamechon u'v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mivorach le'olam u'lomei olmaya. Yit barach v'yit tabak v'yit pa'ar v'yit romam v'yit naseh v'yit hadar v'yit halev v'yit halal shmei kudishah briachu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirchata tush b'chata v'nechmata damiran bi'alma v'imru amen. Yehesh lama rabba min shmaya v'hayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Osei shalom b'imromav Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu V'al Kol Yisrael V'imru Amen. May the one who causes peace to reign in the high heavens let peace descend on us, on all Israel, and all the world. And let us say Amen. We'll close tonight with Oseh Shalom on page 16. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, v'yal kol Yisrael, imru, imru, amen. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, v'yal kol Yisrael, yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, v'yal kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, v'yal kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, v'yal kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu v'yal kol Yisrael. Shabbat shalom. Join us in the back for Kiddush and Motzi.